Hi, it's Dr. Greg Emerson, and I'm about to go to the Channon Markets in northern New South Wales. And on my way down from Brisbane, I listened to some podcasts. Now, I love a good podcast, but sometimes I want to listen to the people who are minimising their footprint on the earth, people who are treading lightly on earth, people who are living the life they talk about. So today we're going to interview some people at the markets. We're going to talk honey and bees. We're going to talk earthworms and compost. We're going to talk essential oils for the mouth, and we're going to talk small dwarf plants that we can plant in our own suburban backyards that can feed us. People always worry about how pricey organic food is. Well, let's start growing our own. You don't need grass on the front lawn or in the backyard. We can plant our own trees, be self-sustainable with our organic food. So let's go have a look at who we're talking to today. Hi Tony, nice to see you. We're back in the Channon Markets with Tony the honey man. And we've been talking a lot about the therapeutic benefits of honey. I was reading the other day about how most of the blue zone peoples, honeys are the only sweetener that they use, and honey's been known to associate with longevity effects and health effects. And I was talking to Tony recently about how he's mixing propolis in with some of his jellybush / manuka honey for its healing properties. So Tony, why don't you tell us a little bit about what propolis actually is and how you incorporate it into the honey?
Okay, propolis is a bee goo. Bees are collecting resin, pollen, nectar, and all sorts of pollen from different flowers and different resins from different trees, and they take it back to the hive and they make this wonderful product called propolis. Now, my understanding is propolis was first recorded 9,000 years ago, and propolis is a bee goo where the bees are covering every square millimeter of the hive. And the reason why they do this is to make it antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal. So in generally, it's sterilizing the hive to keep it really, really super clean. So with propolis, I've worked out that it's a superfood. It's great. It's really, really gooey. It's black as black. It's got a sweet flavor to it. It's got a beautiful aroma, and it's safe enough to eat. But it's always good to seek advice from your local GP, because like honey, it can be anaphylactic, so you can get bad reactions sometimes, but it's very rare. I've incorporated propolis in my diet.
How are you using it for wound healing? You said you've been using it on some of your wounds.
Yes, not long ago I cut myself on my forearm on some really sharp, dirty metal, and I was in a rush and I didn't treat it, didn't wash it. It got infected. It was pretty bad. I put on some honey and propolis on my wound and I covered it with a band-aid. Within 24-hour period, the redness was reduced by 50%, and it formed a new skin over that wound. Mind you, it took me about a week for it to fully go away, but I was amazed at within 24-hour period, the redness had just about disappeared, and the pain, it was throbbing before the propolis and the jellybush. So it really helped me with my wound as well. Yeah.
But it's still being used in hospitals. We used to use it in the hyperbaric chamber, where we used to use hyperbaric oxygen to heal non-healing wounds. The other important thing we want to talk about was how the propolis and the pollen that you get in the unfiltered honey is very, very good for prevention of allergies. One of the reasons why that you want to make sure that your honey comes from a local provider rather than importing it from somewhere else, because you want your local pollens. And where is all your honey collected from, John?
Okay, my honey is collected from the South Ballina to Wardell region and Uralba. And I'm specifically targeting the jellybush and the tea tree for its antibacterial qualities, and also the seasonal eucalyptus because of the flavors. Now, all of my honey is completely raw. I don't heat treat, pasteurize, strain, filter, or blend any of my honey. Now, I've tried a simple experiment on filtering honey, and on the inside of the filter was a lot of pollen and propolis. So if you filter honey, you're removing pollen and propolis, which are both on a superfood list. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're filtering your honey, you've got an inferior honey.
I used to filter mine, but it was basically like through a fairly big holed sieve, basically just to take the bees out. Do you not filter it at all?
No, I don't.
How do you get the bees and other twigs and leaves
first
out?
of all, my technique of removing honey from the hive is bee friendly. I don't use.
We love bees.
I don't use traditional methods because I find that they can be damaging to the bee population. So I use a clearer board system where the bees funnel out through the super, and it removes all the bees. So when I remove my boxes, there's no bees, and then I take it back to my shop 20 Cherry Street Ballina, and I use a simple process where I extract the honey and it sits in a huge separating tank. Anything that's not honey will float to the top. So when I pour my honey, it's pure raw honey.
Any man who loves bees, we love. Thanks very much, Tony. That's it from me today from the Channon Markets. See you next time in a couple of weeks. Dr. Greg Emerson. I'm here with Maya at the Channon Markets, and we're talking about the importance of oral health and particularly periodontal disease. There's a big rage towards oil pulling, but I think the real benefit of having essential oils in the mouth, not so much detoxification of the body, I think there are much better ways of doing that, but the real benefit, because of all the research now showing the harmful effects of periodontal bacteria and viruses on your systemic health, that this is keeping the health of the teeth and the gums optimal by minimising the amount of pathogenic bacteria in the mouth. So Maya, tell us a little bit about, you make these, don't you?
I do.
These are locally made in this area of Byron and Channon. And take us through, one, how you make them and some of the oils that you put in there. And tell me if you agree with the main benefit being the periodontal disease.
Yes, well, yeah, I'm not legally allowed to say that. So basically, I've made this product because I had massive amount of issues with my oral health since I was a kid. So it was out of necessity, and I've done a lot of research into essential oils and their benefit in protecting your teeth and gums. So what I've done is collated a whole bunch of essential oils that are all antibacterial, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, cell rejuvenators, antioxidants, and basically I put them all together in a mixture of coconut oil and black sesame seed oil as a base. Both oils are very nourishing for the gums and soothing, and I have two different flavors to my tonics. One is which is like a toothpaste flavor, which is peppermint, and the other one is a less common one, which is a fennel flavor. They both have the same oils, and I've just tweaked a few oils to make the flavor different.
What are some of the main therapeutic oils you've got? I see you've got turmeric and oregano.
Yep, thyme has been hailed as an incredible oil that would actually effectively stop oral pathogens from occurring. It is a really strong antioxidant, and is kind of proven to kill about 98% of breast cancer cells. Not that it's not relevant to teeth, but it's, it shows how strong it is. I have grapefruit, which is fantastic oil, full of antioxidant, really amazing to boost your immune system. Immortelle is, I can't rave enough about Immortelle. Immortelle is known as Helichrysum italicum. There's all sorts of Helichrysum. This one is an Italicum, and I buy it straight from the source of the grower, which is in Corsica. The quality is very high. Altogether with essential oil, it's really important to have high quality essential oils.
And the idea is that what I do is I clean my teeth with hydrogen peroxide and bicarbonate first, then I clean them again with a clay-based toothpaste after flossing, and then I put the oils in my mouth and swirl them around for 3 or 4 minutes. Is that how you suggest people use it?
No. No, the way I use it is I first floss and rinse. Flossing being extremely, if you don't floss your teeth, it doesn't matter what you do with them, because bits of food is stuck between your teeth, and the bacteria will just love it and feast on it. So flossing and rinsing is really important, and then I put 2 drops on a dry toothbrush, brush my teeth as usual, and spit it. That's how
Which is essentially what I'm doing, except I'm doing with a clay toothpaste, which has oils in it as well, and then I do the oils afterwards. Yeah. So same philosophy, just a slightly different regime of doing things.
Yeah. I just don't use paste, but
Yes, mine's a clay-based.
You can use that. Yeah, you can use this as a mouthwash. You can use this as a mouth freshener. Just drop in water, gargle, salt. Basically use it as you wish. It's very long lasting too, because
take home message is that your oral health is incredibly important for your systemic health, and the most we can do to look after our teeth is very important and our gums for our overall health, not just our oral health and our smiles. So thank you very much, Maya. Lovely
My
talking
pleasure.
to you.
Lovely
Nice
to
to
talk
see you
to you.
again. Hi, I'm down at the Channon Markets with Tony, who's got a wonderful nursery down here where I get most of my food supplies from for growing. So I just thought we'd have a quick chat to Tony about some of the foods that we could put in our back and front yards, because people always complain about how expensive organic food is. Well, a solution there is to start growing our own, and some of these, particularly the dwarf plants, are fantastic for putting in our front and backyards, providing us with an ongoing source of nutrient-dense, phytonutrient-rich plant foods, which we can incorporate as a regular part of our diet and grow it ourselves. So Tony, take us through some of the ones that would be easy for people to grow in their front and backyards that don't get too big, but are also really good eating.
Okay, so we can come down in here to, we've got a lychee. This variety of lychee is called Wai-Chi, and this particular variety is small seed, plenty of flesh, but the tree itself is roughly 3 to 4 meters, okay? Which is ideal for a backyard.
Okay.
Self-pollinating, only need one off.
Okay, so lychees are good. I noticed over here you had one of my favourite ones, which was
The red dragon fruit?
the
Yeah.
dragon fruit, which
So-
I have several growing, the red and the yellow, and because I love it because it's related to the cactus.
Yep.
It's very resilient food. Tell us a little bit about that.
Again, very simple to grow. It does require a post in the ground, something that you can actually tie your plant to so that the flowers actually hang down. Otherwise, if they lay over, they won't pollinate.
Good. And very good source of nutrients.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
what else is good to grow?
Okay, so then we've got some dwarf mulberries down here. And in this particular case, this is what we call a black mulberry.
A black mulberry.
Okay. This tree here is roughly looking about 3 to 4 meters in height. The beauty of this one, you'll get roughly 3 to 4 crops a year.
Right. Yes, the birds loved my ones. I don't think I got any, but
So do my neighbours.
they were fantastic. And of course, particularly in the Queensland and New South Wales climate, these grow like magic, really, without any effort. Whereas I managed to destroy all my blueberry bushes. All right. What else have we got? There's
Okay,
another
so
couple of
in the
quick ones.
dwarfies, you can come up here and we've got some dwarf citrus, okay?
Oh, what about we had
Oh,
some
sorry, we
papaya
forgot
as well.
the pawpaws back in here.
Oh, and of course, avocado.
Yep.
You've got some dwarf avocados.
Yes.
Grow great in this
Yeah.
climate.
So you roughly, this is the reed variety. This is a big round fruit, as in the actual fruit itself,
Okay.
a bit like cannonball. You're looking August when this fruit comes.
Okay. Amazing food, good
About
healthy
3 to
fats
4
for us.
meters again.
We used to be told that the fat avocado would kill us, but now we know that it's actually fantastic food for us.
Back in here, we've got some red pawpaws, which is, in this case here, which is a red bisexual pawpaw, again, which means you only need one of, so you don't need two for pollination. Right? Again, ideal food, great in fresh
again,
fruit or salads.
Grew
Yeah.
really well on my farm that I had in Queensland without any effort. And of course, I like food not only tastes good, but is nutrient dense, full of phytonutrients, but is very easy for somebody like me who's not a natural grower to manage well.
Plus,
And
too,
finally-
when you grow your own foods too, you know what you're getting, as in you know it hasn't been pumped.
Yeah,
with-
and
with
once you can
nasties
move on
and
from
whatever.
organic, then you can move to permaculture, and then you can move to biodynamic, where you start controlling the magic of the soil. All right,
Okay.
thanks very much.
No
we'll
worries.
talk about citrus later, because it's
That's
not so
all
much
right.
an eating one. Thank you so much for your help.
Good
I'll
on
let
you.
you get back to
Have a
going.
good
We're back again. This time we're with Brad, and Brad's devised this great new worm farm technique. I used to have worm farms on my permaculture farm, and it was great success in terms of making the worm juice that I used to put on the garden. But of course it was a bit messy, it was a bit painful, a bit hard because it was a long way away from the house. So Brad's got a new system here. So run us through, Brad, how this system works and a little bit more convenient for people who live in small homes to use for their food waste.
Yeah, well, this is called the composter, and it's really easy to use. You just simply put your kitchen scraps in the centre. The compost worms will feed on your kitchen scraps, producing fertiliser, and that fertiliser feeds the plants growing within the pot. And every time you water the pot, what comes out is beautiful, rich liquid fertiliser. And you can either tip that back on or tip it onto other plants. And it's just a really simple, basic system and a great way to grow organic plants.
Right, so you said that you put the food scraps in here and the
Correct.
soils in here, and you said that the worms go in and out through the holes?
Yeah, well,
Is
the
that right?
worms, if given the chance, they don't want to poop in their own food. So they go inside the canister to get some food, and they come out and put their manure in the potting mix.
Right. And so you can put all your food scraps in there, you get to grow some nice herbs.
Yeah.
You could put this indoors?
If you put the right plants, you probably could grow it indoors.
Okay, but suggest outside for the
Yeah.
herbs that you grow. So not only do you get your own homemade organic herbs, you get your own homemade organic worm juice, and you've got a great way of minimising your impact on the earth and landfill by composting your own food. So Brad, I think it's a fantastic system.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I can't wait to get one for the new place.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
No worries. Thanks.